You're listening to another episode of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon.
What's up, Nightshifters? We're here with an emergency podcast.
Coming to you live, but not really.
We're going to talk really fast so Jon can go do what he's got to do.
No, we don't have to rush through it, brother. We don't have to rush through it like that. It's all good.
I got to go do some things too. But we are here. It's episode 142. I'm Chuck with the chain, and that's Jon, the world's youngest Gen Xer.
Representing that macho man.
Dude, did I send you the Macho Man sings karaoke guy?
No, you have not.
Oh, there's a guy that goes dressed as the Macho Man. And he does karaoke. He's like, Amarillo by morning, brother.
That's incredible.
Amarillo, I'll be there.
That's great, man. No, I'll have to check that out.
He's got the tassels and everything.
Oh, that's fantastic, dude. I love it. What a great idea.
Macho Dan.
That's brilliant. Gotta love it, man.
It's as good as Will Sasso. Sasso, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Doing his impression of what's his name?
Jesse Ventura. Yeah, that one's really good.
Dude, he sounds more like Jesse Ventura than Jesse does now.
I agree. Have you heard Dan Soder though?
No.
His name's Dan Soder, and he is also a comedian, but he does some of the best impressions you've ever heard. He does like Cat Williams. He'll do Jesse Ventura. He'll do Macho Man. He'll do all of them.
That's pretty good if you can go from Cat to Ventura.
Yeah, and he does them all really well. He does like all impressions. Like he's really good.
Yeah.
Dan Soder. Check him out on YouTube. I think he just put out a new special.
Okay. Is it like all impressions?
No, I've never actually watched his stand-up I've watched some of his stand-up, and he does tell jokes. But no, he's just really good at impressions too.
Okay.
Yeah, check him out.
As you can see, I have some bling.
I love it, dude. I think it's perfect. I think it suits you. I think it completes the picture.
One of our listeners, Chris, we don't use last names, so we're not going to use his last name. But Chris brought it. He's like, man, he goes, I got something for you. Ask for it on the podcast. I'm like, I asked for it on the podcast? He's like, yeah. And he sends me a screenshot of our podcast transcripted. And I'm like, where did you get this freaking black magic at? And apparently on Apple Podcasts, they do that for you now.
Oh, thank you, Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
That's awesome, man.
And I didn't know if he was going to bring me a chain or a crown.
Well, I love the chain.
I would have wore a crown.
I know you would have, but you're so big on your hats that I think the chain is good.
I really like this one.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
I don't usually go 2 in a row on the same hat. But
yeah.
I really like this one.
Especially not a Matco Tools hat.
I don't even like Matco Tools.
I know you have nothing Matco.
I don't. Maybe one wrench. No, that's a Cornwell wrench. Yeah. I've only been in like a Matco truck once.
Yeah, I used to be in a Matco truck every week. So
I didn't like their truck. But
yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, we got to talking about the hat and made you.
Oh. I thought it was coming apart, kind of a cheap hat like their cheap tools.
Dang. Burn.
I mean.
Yeah.
So I did that this weekend. He come over and brought it to me. We stood out in the yard and talked for a few minutes. Still messing with that stupid swimming pool. What's your racetrack? What'd you do?
Yeah, man. I worked on a bunch of cars, really. Again, the side work has just had me covered up. So I worked on cars Saturday. Had that really weird F-150 problem I was talking to you about, but praise God, figured that one out. And then
I'm at the racetrack. We're looking at those videos, trying to hear a noise. It's like,
yeah, you're never going to hear that at the racetrack.
I don't know. I don't know. I started to put sounds like a chicken.
Well, I figured it out finally. Praise God, baby. That's what 15 years of experience can do for you sometimes. But
I should have been like, jack it up in the back and see if it's a rear brake shoe in the parking brake system.
I would have never done it. This truck is already so tall. I don't know if I could get the back wheel off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Sunday we had a birthday party.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all had another birthday party?
Yeah, man. So on Wednesday, my daughter turns 9, my middle daughter, and my middle child.
Happy birthday, Lana.
Yeah, happy birthday, Lana. And then we have a niece that also has a birthday on the same day. So it's really crazy. I don't know if I've ever explained this on the podcast before. My daughter and one of our nieces share a birthday. They're born on the same day, just a few years apart. Okay. I think Isla turned 6, maybe, or 7. I'm sorry, 7, I think. What's crazy about that is Catherine and that sister, who's the mother of that niece, share a birthday. So not only they share a birthday 3 years apart, and then their daughters share a birthday a couple of years apart.
Okay, so your past life experts would say that they are connected.
Yeah, it's kind of that Irish twins type of thing, right?
Soul level.
Yeah, it's really. They think the same though. They have a lot of the same exact thoughts at the same exact time. Like it's really, really odd. Some of the connections those two have. They come dressed the same all the time. It's so strange.
That is weird.
Yeah. But yeah, so we got to celebrate them on Sunday. So had a birthday party, worked on some cars. That was my weekend in a nutshell, brother.
That's just a regular weekend for you.
Yeah.
Y'all have birthday parties all the time.
All the time. I think I've had a birthday party every weekend for the last month for sure.
Is that even newsworthy? It's like, John, it's like, okay, we know you had a birthday party to go to. What else did you do?
I had a John weekend. That's what we're just going to call it from now on.
Yeah. John had a standard weekend, plus they went to the Crumble and got a cookie. You know, that would be news. That would be different.
I can't help
it. Charlie's got a friend that works on a farm.
Okay.
And when they're plowing, they find arrowheads. And the weird thing is, it's not that far from here.
Can I come down there when they're plowing?
Well, the guy that is friends with is a little person.
I don't care.
I want him to give me an arrowhead. I want it from him.
Why?
Do you know how lucky that would be?
That would be a lucky arrowhead from then on?
Like a feather given from an Indian. An arrowhead, a found arrowhead like that given from a little person.
That's so funny.
Dude, I think I'd carry it in my pocket.
That's so funny, man. That's really, really funny. All the time?
Possibly. It depends on how sharp it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut up.
A lot of them have broken tips and stuff like that you'll find. You know what I mean? That's really common among arrowheads, especially if it was like an actual arrowhead. You know, an actual arrowhead that was used on a real arrow is really small.
Yeah.
And then there's,
spear tips.
Spear tips and stuff like that. Atlatl. Yeah.
But the weird thing is, it's only like 5 miles from here.
Yeah, of
as the
course.
crow flies. And they find an abundance of them plowing. We never find anything.
Well, just no settlement right there. Maybe there was no hunting right there.
Maybe so.
You know, that's where you're going to find a lot of them is wherever they were making the tools or using the tools, right?
Yeah. Well,
Or even maybe living.
We usually find like steel stuff in the ground here.
Yeah. So, yeah,
you're cast.
Yeah. So yours has been inhabited. It's been, yeah.
Well, I mean, we got a cemetery, so
Pretty well ravaged. Oh, that's true. That's true. So you had people plowing that stuff up way before you ever lived there.
Yeah.
More than likely.
But I'm imagining like where I usually find this stuff at is where my granddad had his garden. So probably just find the stuff he lost.
It's his garden tools he left out there.
Well, I mean, literally, like he had a garden, the same garden spot my whole life.
Yeah.
And basically just abandoned it when he got sick. So
I got you.
Yeah, and we didn't do anything with it. So whatever's up there is up there. You know, I mean, I think got most of it out because I've used that spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is what it is.
Still find stuff every once in a while. Still little buried treasures,
artifacts.
So tell me about Charlie's night at the racetrack, man.
Well, we made a change to the chassis that Charlie wanted to make. I just want to make that clear that Charlie highly suggested this change, and the change wasn't like it was a major change, but it wasn't like way out of the ballpark change. It was actually according to some of the notes we had that worked out pretty good, or should have worked out pretty good, but it did. And the car wasn't quite as fast as it was the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that was the track, part of that was the change we made, and it handled okay, but it wasn't predictable and it wasn't stable. And it wasn't getting up on the bars like it should. So, and then we adjusted the driver a little bit. We went up to the fence. I said, and I showed him some things that I wanted him to do different. Mm-hmm. And he didn't do it most of the race. And then they had a late race call. They had a late race caution, and that last 2 laps, he was flying. People was like, Charlie, do whatever you did those second lap, those last 2 laps were your best laps. Do whatever you did that time. Do it every lap. What'd you do? He said, I just listened to my dad.
Well, the old man knows something every once in a while, right?
And I mean,
we've talked about that on the show. He's really good about listening to people, except for you.
Except for me.
We've talked about that on the show before.
So, yeah, that was our weekend at the racetrack. It was a pretty good weekend.
He finished the race.
He didn't get lapped.
Cool. Week. Car's in good shape.
Car's in decent shape. We're going to make a change back to like it was and see what that does. And if that improves it, we're going to do some little fine tuning stuff. And we're going to do all right this year.
You going to be back out there this Saturday? When's your next race?
Yeah, this Saturday is our last race for about 3 weeks. I think we got 3 weeks off.
Okay.
So we race once in May, and then we're off.
Okay, cool.
Which I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'm almost ready for a week off.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, I'm sure Charlie is. That can't be.
He's not. He's not at all. He's like, Dad, we can go race here or here next week. When we're off. I said, Charlie, let me tell you how this works. I said, if we go race here, well, we're going to take all that money that we could have spent on like something for the car while we're taking 3 weeks off, and just use it driving around.
Right.
Or we could put the cash flow. The cash flow for the race car is pretty much this.
Right.
And so whether we're racing or whatever, the cash flow still comes in. I said, so if we don't spend the cash flow, we can buy something bigger.
Right.
Like, tires, springs, shocks, stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
instead of fueling up and trying to make it to all these other.
Because, if we went to Alabama, we'd have to go to Alabama to race.
Okay. So like Phoenix City or something?
Phoenix City or Penton. So we're looking at least 2.5 hour drive both ways.
Right.
So, and then you got food expenses when you drive that far.
Right.
Because you're going to have to eat on the way, and you're going to have to eat on the way back. I mean, that's just what you do. And
probably eat a little something at the racetrack if you're Charlie.
Definitely got to eat some racetrack French fries.
Yeah, there you go.
He ate a foot long tuna sub and still wanted more food.
He's doing a lot of work out there.
Yeah, he's working burning them calories. But that was our weekend at the racetrack, man.
That's good. That's a good update, though. You made some adjustments. You know that those adjustments weren't the right direction. Like, that's a good racing update. I love it. I love it. He finished the race. He made it through. Great job, Charlie.
Yes. Now, John, we've had a discussion this week. And we're going to bring this to our listeners. And we're open to suggestions from our listeners on this because they'll tell us anyway.
Yep. You can comment on whatever platform you're listening.
Yes. Or just text me.
Yeah. Text Chucker. Reach out on our Facebook page, whatever you want to do.
Social engagement would be nice.
It would be.
But anyway, last night's coffee needs a Wikipedia page.
Yep.
So, do we do this?
Okay. I've looked into it a little bit to answer maybe some minor questions you might have off rip because I knew I had too many questions to even form a question. You know what I mean? Oh. So when you make a Wikipedia page, they encourage you to not make a Wikipedia article about yourself.
Well, that's
however,
you
can.
Okay.
The reason why the big thing for Wikipedia is notability. And so they want neutrality. They want everything to be neutral that's written about.
Oh, I can do that.
And so I actually took a screenshot. So notability is their biggest thing. Obviously, copyright issues. You can't copy and paste anything from anywhere else. You have to write it yourself. And then you have to make references at the end of it. You have to be able to cite things.
Okay.
Which can include media. So you can make it. We can make it.
We can make it based off the podcast. Are we media now?
We are in the media spectrum.
We are in the media spectrum. We're on the spectrum, that's for sure.
We're on the spectrum. Love is a spectrum, you know?
Love can build a bridge. That's what the judge told us.
Yeah.
Amongst other things.
Yeah. So does that help answer some off the bat questions you may have had?
Yeah. What would it say? What would it say? Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon is a podcast.
Yes. It's a podcast by two semi-professional podcasters amateur podcasters.
Semi-professional podcasters and amateur tattoo artists.
Yeah. I'm so glad you knew where I was going with that. Yeah. And professional mechanics.
Well, some say we could be a mechanic.
I mean, we do get paid to turn wrenches.
Occasionally.
Every Friday, baby.
Every Friday. The check just keeps coming.
So yeah, that's how it would start, right? It had to start something like that. Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon is a podcast with two semi-professional podcasters and amateur tattoo artists.
Yes. They call their listeners Nightshifters.
Yes. That's fact.
They both work at night.
Yes.
And then when you click on my name, it'll be blue, but your name will be not blue.
Why?
Because you always got to have that awkward. Why is this guy's name not blue?
Well, I certainly don't want anyone to find anything out about me.
And then on mine, yeah, right. So you don't even have social media, so it'd be like
Yeah.
not blue. Be
Yeah.
Who's this John character?
So maybe one of the things I'll reference I'll make Chuck a hyperlink to our Facebook page, or referencing our Facebook page.
I think you can put that in the bottom in the references.
Right.
Now, because if it hyperlinks to another Wikipedia page, which would be about me.
Oh.
And it'd be
That's
Chuck
true.
Oxenford, mechanic, father, loving husband.
Yes.
And then it would be like he was born in the 70s. He's a baby Gen Xer. He has a love for alternative music and NASCAR and any kind of racing, really.
Yes, racing. Yeah.
Strange obsession with Volkswagens, and then Volkswagens hyperlink. You can go off on another tangent there.
Could I put up your AI photo?
You can put up my AI photo.
Captain D's.
He is known as the king of Captain D's.
Some call him the king of Captain D's.
Yes, some call him the king of Captain D's.
Because that's totally not biased, right?
And
that's
you can
not
actually,
neither here nor there.
If you Google my name, I come up in an article in the San Francisco Times or something like that about this one time I was at a junkyard and Rick Minner was over there writing an article about the junkyard, and I guess he sold it, he's freelance, so he sells stuff. And it ended up, if you Google my name, it ends up like coming up in San Francisco.
That's cool. Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
So there'd be a hyperlink to that article.
I'll do it, man. We'll have to build all this out, but we can do it. I mean, it is possible.
Or I wonder if AI could take, and we put in last night's coffee, put in our names, and it develops a Wikipedia page based on what we talk about.
If it's that smart, I don't know how much digging it can do, right?
You put in King of Captain D's and it come up looking like me because that information was out there.
It was in the ether.
It was in the ethers. It was in the clouds that aren't real.
Yeah, clouds are fake, brother. Clouds are so fake. But what else would our Wikipedia page? So what else would it say? So your name is going to have a hyperlink. My name's not. It's got to have that awkwardness to it.
Yes.
We've got to mention that some call us the curse breakers. The Atlanta curse breakers.
We broke the curse. That's a fact.
Well, the thing is, you have to speak in unbiased, opinions, kind of, to write an article. It seems like on Wikipedia.
Well,
we think it's a fact, but we don't necessarily.
No,
we don't really.
Fact, dude. It's a fact.
If we can back it up,
we can back it up.
We got to cite our podcasts.
I got people that can make a daggone fake news website, and it just have all these articles about my accolades.
I got people.
I got a guy.
You need a toe?
You need a toe? I'll get you a toe. Green shoe polish, that's not a problem.
Shoe polish.
Toe green polish.
Oh, man. Anyway, so definitely curse breakers. What else? What other accolades can our show boast about? The Bush's Baked Beans secret.
We understand. We know the Bush's Baked. We know the secret the dog did. The secret that the dog was hiding. We know it.
Yep, that's it, dude.
That's it. Fact.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
We connected those dots for everybody.
Those dots. It wasn't hard. I mean, all you had to do is a little bit of research,
What else? What else? What else? What other accolades can we put on there on our Wikipedia page? On the last
some would say we're possibly the worst podcast in the world.
Some would say that.
You know,
some would say that.
We've been doing this for 4 years and our numbers ain't changed.
We got the same 5 listeners that we had at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, it went up 1, it went down 1, it's even back out. Yeah. Thank you, you 5 listeners. You know who you are.
Yeah. They just moved. They moved to YouTube 1 week and they move over here this week. It's just back and forth. We don't ever know where they're going to be at.
We don't know. But yeah, some would call us the worst podcast. What else? What else have we done?
Co-host John was once a Taekwondo champion.
Oh yeah, that is a fact. We can state that.
Yes,
3-time junior Olympic champion, 7-time state champion in Taekwondo.
I mean, we're going to go that deep?
We can say it.
I mean,
that if you Google me, that's what comes up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You gonna do it right now?
Yeah, we're gonna do that right now.
All right, do it. See if it comes up. See, the problem is there's someone got promoted to Marine, and his name is also my name. He's like a lieutenant colonel or something like that in the Marines, and so you'll find most of his.
There's
stuff.
more than one Jonathan Lasky.
Yeah, that's
so weird because I only know like 4 people with that last name. 5. Sorry, 6, 7.
Geez, it's adding up. It's adding up.
Yeah.
Fun little fact: the professor from Saved by the Bell college years had that last name, Lasky.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, Professor Lasky. You remember the one who stole Kelly Kapowski for a little while from Zach?
The anthropologist.
That's right. That was Professor Lasky, brother.
That was, wasn't it? How do you spell Taekwondo?
TAEKWON.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Oh, wow. 18th Junior Olympic Taekwondo Championships.
Brother.
You come up.
Really? I'm so shocked. I haven't done this in years, man. I haven't tried this in...
The very first article, you're boom right there.
Boom. That's crazy. That's crazy. Good luck finding out more about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's me, brother. I'm surprised it still comes up.
That's pretty cool.
But I'm not blue. Yeah. I'm not gonna. My name is not gonna be blue. I'm not hyperlinking that.
No, you can't hyperlink that. They have to find that out on their own. They're like, this man's a champion. You know, they say that don't transfer over to jiu-jitsu well.
Really? I did not. I didn't know that.
Because your instinct is to throw a block with your hand up or something like that, and that's when they get you. And they're like, roll you up.
Yeah, I can imagine. Jiu-jitsu and Taekwondo, totally opposite. Totally different. Yeah. I suck at jiu-jitsu.
Look, I'm a believer that in a lot of these martial arts, like say me, and this is what MMA kind of shows sometimes. Like if you got a Taekwondo expert, and he's fighting a guy that ain't a Taekwondo expert, that say he's a boxer. Now that boxer could be a champion in his right.
Yeah.
But he thinks the guy's just supposed to stand there and take the hits.
Yes.
So, like, if you're out on the street and you're a boxer, like, that dude's a boxer, man. That daggum jiu-jitsu dude's going to roll him up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and
any day.
He's going to know what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I recommend anybody who wants to learn any martial arts for like self-defense, I would recommend jujitsu
But
because
you know what they can't figure out?
what's that?
How to stop a bullet.
That's true. No one can.
Yeah.
No one can figure that out. But
So-
if it, the reason why I would recommend jujitsu to anybody is because 90% of street fights wind up on the ground.
Yeah.
And when you're on the ground, if you know what you're doing, it's over. It's game over. Like
What about
most of them are going to end in like most fights are going to have a tussle that takes people to the ground.
yeah?
Like it's not what you think in these movies where it's like pop, 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 pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it doesn't
they're not
work.
sitting there.
No, no, it doesn't
do
work
this.
like that. Yeah. And it's so rare to come across someone who's actually trained anyway. So if you can just learn the minimal amount of grappling, I think that's your best bet when it comes to a hand-to-hand situation. Yeah.
What about Greco-Roman wrestling?
Oh, wrestling, absolutely. Because wrestling, if you can take that person to the ground, yeah,
And then
and
you
hold
throw
them there.
Oil check
Dude.
in there just for the heck of it.
Wrestlers are the most vicious of all martial artists. Like I consider wrestling a martial art, and they are the biggest animals there are. They're all about the weight cutting already, and like they're just on a whole different level. They train. They never stop. They're animals, man. They're always different.
I can't believe the Marshall family had so many different arts. I mean, they must have traveled everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know, like they branched out. They were just this vicious family
Yeah.
of Marshalls, the Marshalls.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, we can't get along here. So you take your skills here, you take your skills here, and we're going to develop the world in different martial arts skills.
That'd be really that'd be really funny if you just convince somebody.
That's how it happened.
That's how it happened.
There's somebody going, what?
Some ancient seafaring family.
The Marshalls. They don't talk about them because they're so secretive.
Yeah.
They were so secretive. They don't talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's really who runs the world. It's not the Illuminati. It's not some secret black government or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Marshall family.
It's the Marshall family, including Marshall Mathers.
Yes. He's the head marshal. He is what we know now as
that's how they've stayed in disguise, is they just go by first name Marshall.
Yes, his first name Marshalls. You know, they influenced George Foreman. You know, he named all his kids George. The Marshalls predate last names.
That's right.
So you're just Marshall.
Yeah.
You know, Marshall Tucker.
Yeah. And just to fit in with modern times, they just add a last name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Praise God for the Marshalls, I think.
Yeah. The Marshalls, they're out there doing the work, man.
Yeah, they got a lot of good arts.
You want to take an ad break?
Let's do it, brother.
And we're back. So the NFL draft was this weekend.
Yes, it was. It was. It started, I think, Thursday night, something like that. The Falcons managed to 28-3 the draft, dude. They managed to pull off one of the worst ideas in draft history I've ever seen.
Okay.
I say that because in the offseason, they signed Kirk Cousins to a $100 million guaranteed contract. Okay. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
By the way, $100 million guaranteed. I think he stands to make $180 million total. If he's brought back for year 3 and 4, I think is what it is. And they draft a quarterback. So they sign a quarterback in the offseason, and then they draft a quarterback with the number 8 selection overall. So you sign this guy to $100 million, and you use your very top draft pick on somebody who's not going to play for at least 2 years.
It makes perfect sense.
It makes no sense.
It's the Atlanta Falcons. It makes all the sense in the world.
It makes no sense at all. And I say all that, I actually really like the player that they drafted. As a player, as a quarterback, I think he stands a chance in the NFL. I think he's a good player. Yeah. I just don't get it. Like, the general manager's job is to kind of mesh together free agency and the draft and field a team that's good, right? That is coachable. Right. And they did not do that at all. It's a completely botched front office job again. And I was really hoping for better from Terry Fontenot.
Isn't that the general manager that they said Bill Belichick didn't want involved?
I don't remember, man. Bill Belichick would have been a terrible signing for us, terrible coach for us anyway.
Like, that's the same general manager that they've had for years, right?
The last few years. He came from New Orleans. Dude, what if he is here to botch everything for the Falcons? He's like a spy from Nolan, dude.
Dude, people don't, when they...
Rivalries run deep.
Rivalries run deep. This dude is just taking a paycheck
trying to get fired now.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get fired at this point. He's making like terrible decisions, just totally screwing the Falcons organization so that he can go back to New Orleans and get a bunch of money from over there too.
Yeah. Well, he's getting money from there too.
Yeah, he already is. So the look on Arthur Blank's face, though, when we drafted a quarterback, the look on our owner's face, on the team owner's face, was priceless. He was not happy. You could see it written all over his face.
So they didn't tell him that was coming?
I don't know, man. They didn't hardly tell the quarterback that they just signed. You just signed this dude to $100 million deal. He should be a very high integral part of your team. Most of your meetings. Does he get a final say-so in the draft? Absolutely not. But if you're going to take a quarterback, or if you're even considering taking a quarterback, let the guy know. You know what I mean? Like, especially in the first round. If you take a quarterback in the 5th or 6th round, I'm not saying a word. But with your top pick, you chose a quarterback.
Especially when they need other things.
They have so much need on the defensive end. It's not even funny. They haven't had a double-digit sack season since they went to the Super Bowl in 2016. They can't field a defense that'll get double-digit sacks.
It's because they weren't coached right.
I don't know, man. At some point, I think it's just in the culture. I think it's in the locker room. You know what I mean? It's just part of the culture in this particular city where it's like, we can come close. We can edge the fans all we want, but we will not get there.
Did you know, this is a totally off subject.
Go ahead.
But on the New Heights podcast, they were talking about that 15 to 20% of the locker room in most NFL teams are flat earthers.
Get out of here. 15 to 20%? What the heck, dude? That makes no sense. They need to get off of YouTube, man.
Well, I mean, the field's flat. They don't know nothing but the field. They're like, man, this field's flat, dude. 100 yards. It don't curve at all.
Y'all ever ran a football field this long, okay?
That's like, man, I run across here. I ain't running uphill one way and downhill the other. Unless I'm playing at the Griffin Stadium.
Yeah, unless they're at Griffin. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Man, you know how the old school fields had a crown?
Yeah.
Well, Griffin's field was so old, it had a crown.
Mm-hmm.
But it also had waves.
Yeah, it varied.
You walk across that one, you're
The
like,
water table, based on the water table.
yeah.
Be like, I don't know, man. How high's the Flint today?
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So 15% of the daggum locker rooms in the NFL think the Earth is flat.
Wow. So 15% of them are that gullible. That's great. I'll keep that in mind.
We need to make friends with one.
Speaking of being gullible,
Yes.
we got to talk about this news article I was reading out of Baltimore. Okay. There was this Baltimore. Okay, here's the headline off of NPR. A Baltimore area teacher is accused of using AI to make his boss appear racist. Yeah. Oops.
Did you not silence your phone?
I thought I did. I guess not. Ding. A Maryland high school athletic director is facing criminal charges after police say he used artificial intelligence to duplicate the voice of Pikesville High School principal Eric Eisworth, leading the community to believe Eisworth said racist and anti-Semitic things about teachers and students. Wow. So this guy basically used AI to recreate this principal's voice to say things he did not say. How wild is that?
It's pretty funny.
I mean, it's funny, but it's
there's enough.
That's where we're getting to.
There's enough of our voice out there to somebody could do that to us and like sync the show.
Oh, for sure.
Or would it sync it, or would it like boost it? Because they'd be like, "No, I can't believe Chuck really said that."
Well, I gotta believe there's probably more than 5 racist people in the world that would want to listen to it if they made us out to be like racist.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we gain bad listeners.
Well, I mean, we might, get the listeners who are like, "No, I can't believe Chuck and Jon."
Well, we might get a few of those, yeah. And praise God, we wouldn't actually say those things.
No, we like everybody.
So that's the latest and greatest scary thing that AI can be used for. So, in saying that, what's our conspiracy corner this week, dude?
Okay, our conspiracy corner, John. We're gonna talk about something that's really fresh in the news this week.
All right.
So all across campus, college campuses everywhere, they've been having pro-Palestinian protests. And they've all been using the same tent. Okay. Now, the conspiracy is that George Soros is funding it and sending out all the tents.
Right. The conspiracy is that someone's funding these protests.
Yes.
And supplying these people with tents.
Yeah, because all the tents are the same.
Yeah, it's all uniform.
Now, on these tents that they have been buying, if you go to Amazon and you put in tent, the tent is the cheapest tent that they sell. We actually have this link at church on that same tent that went out in a post because we buy them for the homeless people. So you can go buy a tent for the homeless people. It only costs you $30.
Yeah.
So they're buying the same tent because it's cheap. Now, I'm not saying that somebody is not organizing these protests because it's very uncommon for a protest just to happen organically. Yeah, it does take some organization. You have to organize a protest. So if you're organized the protest, you can't say, okay, you need to get this tent, you need to show up with this black outfit.
No one's going to say that.
You don't think so?
I mean, if they're handed the items, like if you're handing them out, like if you're the organizer, right? Say George Soros hired you and you're handing them out. Yes, I think you could get people to be uniform like that. However, if you're just some body just some random person organizing a protest, no, you're not going to be like, everybody, you have to wear this stuff and you have to order this exact tent.
So you're saying when they were protesting the BLM stuff and they were all showing up in black with black masks,
they were given those things.
Okay, you think they were given those? You don't think they were given a list, a dress code?
I don't think you could get, no, you can't get those people out of bed at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. You can't get them to buy their own uniform.
Okay. So do you think they're buying their own tent, or do you think somebody's supplying it to you?
I think if they're all looking the same, it looks organized, and it looks like yeah, sure, it appears that way.
Okay, so you don't think it's just the fact that, because it's all the big cities where they've got Amazon, what do they call it when you can get it like immediately?
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Like that.
Yeah, Amazon Now, probably.
Or something. If not, they name it that.
I think that's a possibility. So, but again, I think that someone would have to be funding it. I don't think there's that many people who are going to go out of their way to spend $30 on a tent to protest that much. No, especially not these people. Okay. I'm taking your average protester, your average blue hair. Like, I'm sorry, I am being stereotypical here. Forgive me.
Blue hair.
Yeah.
Okay. So you believe in this conspiracy that somebody's buying the tent?
I didn't say that. I said it certainly could appear that way.
Okay. So
I would need to see, like, how many tents are there on these campuses? Like, are we talking 5 or 6? Are we talking hundreds? What are we talking?
Well, let's just pull it up.
You know what I'm saying? If there's 100 of the same tent, yeah, I think that's organized, brother. If you say there's 10, I can say maybe someone had $300 to order 10 tents, and out of it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they got a contribution that was able to pay for some tents, but no, it's got to be overwhelming.
So even the mayor of New York thinks somebody's buying them. Now, I'm gonna send you a picture of these tents.
Okay.
And you can put it up right there. Now, if you go on Amazon and you click on that link,
I see. Okay.
You see, those are all the same tents; they're just different colors.
Yes, but I also know that picture doesn't necessarily do anything justice, right? Okay. Like that might be the perfect camera angle to pick up all 12 tents that are there.
Okay, what about this one from a different town?
All right, great. And these are just my personal reactions. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think I'm kind of on the fence of. I think they're well organized. These young kids, Gen Z is a very organized group of people. They like to be in fashion. So if this is the fashionable tent to have,
But even there, it doesn't look like the exact same tent everywhere. Like, that's a lot of different tents. Well, it's not the exact same one all over.
Yeah.
That last one you sent me.
Okay.
So I'm not completely debunking, but my first impression is that's a lot of different people.
Somebody's got an orange camouflage tent. They won't ever see that one.
Right. But I really like the conspiracy because I think there can be some truth to it. Like we saw with the BLM riots and things like that happened, a few years ago. There were some odd staging of bricks. It seemed like organized bus loads of people you heard reports about, right? So there is some oddness and there is some legitimacy to it almost.
So what do? They get off the bus and they open the bottom of the bus and they walk by and here's your tent, here's your tent, here's your tent.
Just saying. If I was to go off the deep end and be a total conspiracy nut, yes, absolutely.
There's a TikTok. I had to find it tonight, and this pro-Israel dude walks out there and he's got his American flag and his Israeli flag, and the tents, they're all sleeping, and he puts this big speaker out there and he starts playing one of the rants from Good Morning Vietnam.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
He goes, "Wake up, commies!"
Perfect.
All right, so
you got a meme for me this week, then, man?
do I have a meme? Yeah, I do have a meme.
Great.
Do you want serious or do you want funny?
Give me a funny one.
All right. This is going to tie into the conspiracy too. Daggum, dude.
I guess. It's because you're on my favorites, maybe.
And you didn't slide the slider.
Yeah. Here we go. Pulling it up. I love the Babylon Bee. This is straight out of there. Sad college student so caught up harassing Jews, he forgot about term paper on inclusion. You got to love it, man. You got to love it. It's so focused on hating people that he forgot his inclusivity paper.
Yes. I think it's a bunch of bull crap.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I was telling Dad about this week. We were talking about it. I said it's so weird that we went from the post-World War II era of like, okay, Jews are people too.
Mm-hmm.
And white, and then as the civil rights come along, and they're like, no, white supremacy is not really a great idea, and,
right,
and all this stuff, and not being a Nazi to, they're going, these people are chanting death to the Jews, and then turn around and calling us Nazis.
Isn't that wild?
Or calling the conservatives Nazis. And it's like, hold on a minute, dude. Did you not go to history class? Do you not understand how this works? That's not how any of this works.
None of it.
You are so backwards.
Yeah, and these kids don't understand it.
And these kids, okay, the colleges a lot of these colleges that they're protesting at are very prestigious colleges. You are not an idiot if you go there. What I'm saying, like academically, you are very smart on paper.
Sure.
But you're a freaking idiot if you're falling into this. And all they're doing, they're not. Look, if you're listening and you happen to be listening, Gen Z protesters, whatever you want to call yourselves, whoever's organizing this little thing for you, they don't love you. You're just a rat in their cage, man.
Yep.
You're the best thing in the world that you can be is anti-establishment.
Sure.
But you've got to realize, and being anti-establishment, you're anti-establishment. Like you're like, it don't matter if it's a right establishment or a left establishment.
Nope.
If you think the establishment is the right, you're being told by your left establishment to think this way.
Yeah.
And same goes for the people on the right. If you think the left is the establishment, that's because you got these people in your ear that is your right establishment. No, you need to be thinking for yourself, dude. Go out there, do your own research, figure it out, live your life. Because guess what? In 20 more years, when you're in your 40s, you're going to be pissed off at both sides because they've let you down. You can't put your trust in the government or the establishment or any of it. They don't have your best interest in mind.
Hear, hear.
They don't. They won't. They see, okay, so we talked about the left and right establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just a farce.
Mm-hmm.
It's all really one establishment.
Sure.
And they're playing both sides. Think about it like, you know what I'm saying?
You're starting to sound like the manifesto guy from last week.
No, look, dude, it's like a good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, right, sure.
It's good cop, bad cop. So this week, you think, oh, the bad cop, the grumpy cop is in here talking to me. Mm-hmm. No, for real, dude. They're playing both sides. They're leading you down a path where they can control you. Of course. And that's really all they want to do is they don't want to make your life better. They don't care about you. They just want to use you as a pawn. If you play, right. I don't play chess, but I understand a little bit about chess.
Yep.
You're a pawn. You're
pawns get used. Yep.
Pawns get used. You're a sacrificial lamb.
Yep. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Guess what? In another 10 years, they'll turn you into you. They might turn you into the bad guy.
Yep.
Because you look at the past few years, you saw all the BLM protests, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said protest good. Well, guess what? The other side decided we're going to protest, and then we're going to go to January 6th. Well, now protest bad.
Mm-hmm.
Protest bad. Well, guess what? Now they're saying, oh, protest good again. Protest bad. Protest good. Protest bad.
It's that pendulum, brother.
Just go down the middle.
Just go down the middle. That's right.
And
use discernment wisely.
Yeah, live your life.
Live your life, not the life you're told.
Yeah, not the life you're told. Make your own decisions. Be a free thinker.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Here.
You know, they asked Dwayne Allman. They said, "What are you going to do about the revolution, man?" He said, "What revolution?" He goes, "You know, the revolution." He goes, "Man, I don't believe in no revolution. I believe in evil." No, he said, "I'm going to eat a peach." And you can look up the rest of that quote.
That's awesome. That's so good. That's such an Allman Brothers quote. That sounds.
And that's where the name of the album comes from. Eat a peach.
Ah, perfect. That's awesome. Well said, dude. That was a really good rant, man. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Go check out the Eating Chambers on YouTube.
Oh yeah, do that. Shout out to the Eating Chambers. Check them out. We're doing shout for shout. Yeah, Lana's birthday she's turning 9 on Wednesday.
You feel old yet?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I feel really old.
Wait till she's in high school. And you'll be like, wait a minute. We were just playing like, and then the next thing you know, she'll be at college protesting. Whatever you're for at that time, she'll be at college protesting.
Get out of here, man. I don't want to hear it.
I sent my girls a text this week. I said, I'm so glad y'all. And they're both like
not protesting on a college campus.
They both sent me back text. They're like, these people are stupid. Kyle's like, they're protesting at UCF. Yeah, that's the one he goes to. That's that big college in Florida. He goes, they're protesting down there. The protesters got blue hair. That's all you need to know.
See? So when I stereotyped earlier, I wasn't wrong. Like, we have firsthand accounts here.
We do have firsthand accounts from a college campus.
Yeah. Jeez Louise. Man, it's been a funny show. It's been a great one. Thank you, Chucker, for episode 142, man.
Yep. All right. It's kind of short this week when it's all put together.
Should be. Should be.
Hope y'all enjoy.
Thank you, Nightshifters. We appreciate it.
See ya.